Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios and check out our Facebook page where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 49 of the podcast, and if you are joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we'll extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for reading. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. This is part 2 of the podcast. And you heard it correctly, folks. This is episode number 49. My God in heaven, 49. Unbelievable. Isn't that awesome? One more episode till we hit the big 5-0. Aren't you excited? I am too. The last time we were together, folks, we talked quite a bit, extensively actually, about a little thing I like to call the Raw Renaissance. It's a state of mind. It's a state of it's a state of the show. It's just an idea really that I had, and honestly, it's not something that's actually come into fruition, if that makes any sense. But I guess it's something that I want to see happen as a fan and as a writer as well. Coming from, of course, the company WWE. So before we go any further, without any further ado, I should say, let's just go ahead and get to this sucker right now, shall we? This week, the main event is the Raw Renaissance Part 2. The sequel. The second half. Part the second. Okay, so in part 1 of this little ditty, we talked quite a bit about the current state of Raw, the good things that are happening on Raw right now, the recent surprises, Sami Zayn showing up and taking out Owens, and Y2J turning on AJ Styles, which we all saw that coming. We all did see that coming, right? By the way. And just as a side note, as I said before we're getting started here, why not just dive right in? When it comes to the future of the company, and this is what we're talking about, folks, we're talking about the Raw Renaissance, because that company, as we said in part 1, revolves around Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is sort of the beginning. It's like the blueprint. It's what everything else sort of falls around. Consider Monday Night Raw the top guy. Do you know what I mean? And everything else in your company plays second fiddle to Monday Night Raw. That means any other talent, that includes SmackDown, that includes even of course, like house shows, but even pay-per-views. I mean, how many pay-per-views have you watched where you're like, God, this just feels like a big Monday Night Raw? Right? I mean, it's sort of the same concept, man, because Monday Night Raw is that big, it's that important, it's that substantial, and it really always has been, and honestly, it should always be that way, if I can just be straight with you right now. It should always be that way. Monday Night Raw is the focus, so it should always be the focus. It should always be the epicenter of everything that company is doing, so of course, they're going to throw the most effort, the most creative, everything they have, the most talent at that program. I mean, how many guys make their triumphant return on SmackDown? It's either going to be on pay-per-view or probably more likely Monday Night Raw in order to boost ratings. Okay? And that's really what we're talking about. But in order to speak about a Raw Renaissance, in order to predict a Raw Renaissance and tell you what we're talking about here, part of the Renaissance means that you have fresh talent, you have a fresh look, you have new direction, okay? Which is what we're really getting into here. And we're talking about fresh faces. AJ Styles he's not really a fresh face if you're a pro wrestling fan, but he's fresh to that company. He's new to that company. And man, he's completely tearing it up. Did you expect anything less? A lot of people had a lot of concern about AJ when it was announced that he was going over, I should say, going to the promotion up north, right? Because WWE has always been up north, right? So when it was announced that AJ's going up north, the one thing everyone said was, oh God, what are they going to do with him? Well, I'll put it to you this way. I've got my own feelings on that, and I'll hit you with that in just a minute. But let me say right now that I love the fact that he can do whatever he wants to do in the ring. They took away the Styles Clash. I don't care. I'm not one of those guys, man, that says, well, if a guy's finisher is a guy's finisher, how dare you? That's only true in certain cases in my experience, in my opinion. I mean, how are you going to take the stunner away from Stone Cold? That's ridiculous, okay? How are you going to take the rock bottom away from The Rock? You know what I mean? How are you going to take the RKO away from Randy Orton? You can't. The punting of the head, I don't care about that. That wasn't his signature, deal. The RKO is what everybody pops off of, okay? And it's kind of the same deal with AJ. I don't care about the Styles Clash. That guy has an arsenal of moves. He's forgotten more moves than most guys will ever learn. Okay, that's the truth of it. And he's so good at what he does. And he just, I mean, you talk about a trainer. When his time is done, and I'm gonna say this on the record right now, I hope that he continues his relationship with WWE. I hope this thing is extremely successful for him, for both sides, and that he stays for a good long time. Because when his time in the sun is over, I want this guy to be a trainer. Can you imagine if you're a guy just breaking into the business? Can you imagine what you would learn from AJ Styles? Oh my God. Just, and you don't have to be a cruiserweight, but just think about the psychology that AJ can teach. I would love to sit in, not necessarily be a part of it. I would just love to observe. I'd like to be in the front row of like the training facility and see AJ run through a match with 4 or 5 trainees and just have him take them through the motions of the whole thing. I'm getting cold chills right now, man. That's what I want to see, because the guy's going to be an incredible teacher. He is right now, honestly. He puts on clinics in the ring every time he's out there. You should call this guy the doctor, right? Because he's putting on a clinic every time. I don't care how hokey that sounds. Come at me, whatever. But he's getting it done, man. AJ's the man right now. Now, talk about the future, talk about fresh faces, all that kind of stuff. Is AJ Styles the future of WWE? Well, that sounds good, right? If you're an AJ Styles fan, this sounds really good, right? It sounds like, oh my God, I can't wait till this happens kind of good, okay? But honestly, is that going to happen? I don't know about that. All right, if AJ were in his 20s, I would say he's got a fighting chance. He's not in his 20s. Okay. Now, having said that, I don't see why he can't have a great run in that company. I don't see why he couldn't become the number 3 or maybe even the number 2 man in the company. Go ahead and laugh at it if you want to, but think about Rey Mysterio. He was a top guy at one time. Cena was there. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. Rey was definitely a top guy. Does that make you feel better? So I think AJ has all the ability in the world to get there. He knows what it's like. He handles pressure. This is not new to him, right? I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing all the time. Talk about a guy that's got it together in the ring. AJ's got it together, man. I'd love to see that guy have a fantastic run. I don't want to see him one and done. I think putting him with Jericho was absolutely the right move. They're going to tear down the house at WrestleMania 32. They are. And I love that this is going to be AJ's first WrestleMania. It's going to be his opportunity to get out there and wow that crowd. Dude, they're going to get a standing ovation. I'm going to tell you right now. Because Y2J is going to let AJ get everything in. Hard to get all those initials, right? It's very funny. You know what's great? They had the Y2AJ t-shirts made, and someone online said, oh my God, I just ordered the t-shirt. I can't believe this happened. Well, welcome to the storyline, my friend. You got entertained, okay? And that's part of the fun. Did you have fun? Because it was pretty awesome to see, right? Jericho's a pro. I don't know this for sure, but I would venture a guess and say Chris was the one that said, dude, make us some shirts. Let's really sell this thing. Let's convince them that we're on the same side. That way, when the heel turn happens, it's going to mean more, right? But what I was going to say was, that Jericho's going to let AJ get in as much as he possibly can, really anything he wants to do. And Jericho's going to call the match, and AJ's going to look phenomenal, as he always does. And Jericho's going to look like a legend like he does all the time himself. I mean, you talk about a match, and I don't care, folks, that they've worked 3 matches together so far. I could care less. This match is going to be one for the ages because this is going to be on the stage of WrestleMania. It's going to mean that much more. It's going to be that much more entertaining. It's going to have that much more meaning. And it's going to be one of those matches that you're going to look back on that Monday after Mania and say, oh my God in heaven, what a fantastic match that was. I mean, AJ's stock is rising. If you're in WWE right now, if you had your choice of who you could be right now, you better choose AJ Styles. You're crazy not to, because his stock is going up. And it should. Is he the future of that company? I think he could be part of it. But when you're talking about the future of the company, who are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you who they're talking about. Roman Reigns. You can't talk about the Raw Renaissance and the future of that program without talking about Reigns. We can't act like the guy doesn't exist just because he hasn't been on TV in 2 weeks. I mean, you can't do that, man. You got to talk about the guy that company is trying to tie their horse to. Now, here's the problem. Every time they attempt to tie the horse to him, the cart gets a little bit farther away. You want to know why? Because fans ain't having it, okay? I will tell you this right now. And I know what the response is from all these smarty pants online. They always hit me with the same stuff all the time. They always hit you with this. And I know you've heard it. Well, you couldn't book it any better. You're just a fan. You're not a booker. Whatever. I will tell you this right now. I never proclaimed to be a booker. I've booked pro wrestling in the past. Yes, sir, I have. But I don't proclaim and I don't profess to be a WWE booker. I don't have any idea what they're doing. It's their plan. They're creative. Go with God. But I will tell you this. On some level, WWE Creative or the McMahons or somebody's responsible for this has dropped the ball with this guy. This guy should be over to the moon right now, and he's absolutely not. Now, you can blame him. You can blame his promos, which, by the way, I would dare say they run through his promos before he goes out there. Somebody's signing off on that crap that he says, right? And you can blame him for the matches, which, by the way, if you're still blaming Roman for how he works, this is what they want. They want power. They want punch and kick. They want spear. They want roughhousing. They want brawling. That's what this guy can do. I don't know if he can chain wrestle like Dean Malenko or Brock Lesnar. I don't know if he can do that. Or chain wrestle like, Kurt Angle. I don't know if he's capable of that. Maybe he is. Who am I to say? I have no idea. But I know he's very good at the other side of it. So guess what? If you're still getting all up in arms about that, do yourself a favor. Get your blood pressure down right now and get over yourself. Who cares how he works in the ring? His style is working for him. And by the way, he's much better now than he was a year ago, so shut up about that. Move on. Here's what I have a problem with, man. That company's dropped the ball with him in terms of his image, in terms of what he says, and in terms of how he's handled. You can't get over on a healthy Daniel Bryan. Straight up, that's it, and that's all. You also can't get over. You also can't get over on a dominant Triple H. Ask Booker T how easy it is to get over on a dominant Triple H. You can't. Good luck and go with God on that one as well, because it ain't happening, okay? No one can get over on Triple H. There's only a handful of guys that can do it, and they're retired now, okay? And the only one that's trying to do it right now is Ambrose, all right? And Ambrose is a whole other topic. Fine, you want to get into it? Let's talk about getting into it. If Roman is the guy, then Dean's the second guy, right? That's what everyone thinks. Dean is the second guy, the modern day Roddy Piper. Everyone was comparing to Brian Pillman. I don't care. Because he's crazy. Stop. Whatever. In my opinion, Dean is the new Roddy Piper in terms of, and no one can replace Hot Rod, don't get me wrong. But in terms of his gimmick, in terms of how he connects with the crowd, in terms of how the crowd looks at each other when he's out there, so, oh my God, what's he going to do this time? That's what people want from the business. That's what they want from that company. And that's what they want from Monday Night Raw. Unpredictability. They want somebody to come in and just knock them right back on their heels. And Dean is very capable of doing that. But as I've said before, I've been very disappointed at how he's been handled. I've been very disappointed in terms of his promo work, because every single time that I think Dean is getting ready to get over to the moon, something happens. He started off on the March 7th edition Monday Night Raw hot as fire. He did. I mean, dude, he was red hot on that promo, and then the whole thing fell apart when Triple H came out. Now, you can blame Hunter, you can blame creative, you can blame whatever, because Dean got his comeuppance at the end of the show, which was a nice touch, because Triple H took that dirty deeds like he got shot in the head, in the back of the head. It looked amazing, because when Hunter decides to sell for you, he's going to sell. He's going to make you look like $1 million, which is what a true pro does. So kudos to Triple H for that, man. But as far as Dean's future in the company, is Dean the top guy? Will he be the top? Is he your next top guy? Now, here's the problem. When I look at Dean, here's the thing. I can look at Daniel and I say Daniel gets it. Okay? I can look at AJ and say AJ gets it. When I look at Dean, I don't, and this might sound like blasphemy to a lot of you out there, and if it is, so be it. I don't know if Dean totally gets it. I don't. He's paid his dues. It's not for someone like me to say he's not paid his dues. I'm not suggesting he doesn't work hard. I'm not suggesting he doesn't go above and beyond. I'm not suggesting this is not his passion, that he doesn't love this with everything inside of him, and he wants to succeed more than anything else. I never said that, and I got all the respect in the world for him. But when I look at him and the totality of his character, I seriously have to ask myself, number one, does he get it? Number two, does WWE get it with him? Do they understand what he's capable of? Do they understand what he could do when put in the right spots, put in the right position? Or are they just rolling with the punches when it comes to Dean Ambrose in the ring right now? Because if I had to venture a guess, man, I would say that they are legitimately just rolling with the punches. They're just going with the flow right now, man. That's what I think they're doing. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a great big master plan for Dean Ambrose that Tom's not aware of. Guess what? If there is, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I have no problem being wrong when something good comes of it. Neither should you. I don't have an ego that massive. Trust me. It's not that big at all, man. Straight up, okay? I have no problem being wrong if something good comes of it. If Dean ends up being a superstar, and I'm talking about megastar, like Randy Savage kind of big, let's make this happen, man. I hope he connects on that organic level, and it happens very, very real, like I said, very organically, with a very visceral connection. Fine, go with that. Go. I'm good. Let's do that. Totally fine with me. I don't know if that's going to happen. Because like I said before, he cuts a promo, and he starts strong, the middle gets shaky, the end falls apart. Now, is that him? Is that his instincts? Does he have bad instincts on a promo? Does he not quite know how to wrap it up? Or is WWE just dealing him a bad hand? If I had to guess, I'd say WWE is dealing him a bad hand. That's just me talking. Maybe I'm dead wrong. That's just how I see it. But I continue to be underwhelmed at the last day, at the end of the day, on Dean Ambrose. Morning, noon, and night's great. At the end of the day, at the close of the day, the stroke of midnight, I'm not very happy. Because I'm left going, whatever. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have that. Again, as we said in part one, if you really want to have a renaissance on Monday Night Raw, then you have to give the feeling that this show cannot be missed. That you got to tune in. Did you miss Monday Night Raw? Or, dude, are you out of your mind? Dean could be a big part of that. But right now he's not. And I don't know why he's not. He could be a massive part of that. But right now, he's just not. And that's just how it is. Now, let me just put it to you this way. When it comes to new faces, what's going to happen, new direction, the next face of the company, we inevitably come back to one solid fact. You can talk about all the stars in NXT, all the guys coming up to the main roster, the guys in the main roster right now that are not quite there but could be there maybe with some more work and some more guidance. Here it is, folks, at the end of the day. John Cena is still the guy. Forgot about him, didn't you? John Cena is still the guy. He's still the top guy, man. And until that's no longer the case, you don't need a new top guy. Now, here's the problem. John's only getting older. John's injuries perhaps are coming more and more often now. Now, granted, he's not like, Dolph Ziggler kind of injured where, injuries take him out of right when they got him to where they want him to be. Bam, he gets hurt. He's not Daniel Bryan kind of injured. Don't misunderstand me here. But what I'm saying to you is that with age comes the inevitable slowdown. John looks amazing. John lives in the gym. John loves his body, and WWE loves his body as well, and they should. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, John is going to eventually have to stop. Now, will he work a limited run like Triple H and The Undertaker? I think so. I think at some point, maybe it's 3 years from now, maybe it's 2 years from now, maybe it's 5 or maybe longer. I don't know. It just depends on what that company does with the next guy, man. But at some point, I think you'll see John working 1 to 2 times a year. He'll become the WrestleMania attraction like Taker is. And you know what? I'm okay with that if you are. I mean, honestly, I think that he's deserved to call his own shots. Here's the thing. As long as John is healthy, and when he gets healthy again, he comes back. And by the way, latest headline, if you haven't heard, if you don't know, now you know, John Cena supposedly not working WrestleMania. A huge blow dealt to that company because, man, they need John. But guess what? It ain't happening. Let me ask you a question. Let's say they sell out Dallas Stadium, AT&T Stadium. Let's say that Mania gets over big time. It's the most pay-per-view buys in the history of that company. Okay? Let's say it's the most watched WrestleMania of all time. Okay? Let's say that it's a monster hit. let's say that out of the 8 or 9 matches, whatever it is it's going to be in the end, let's say that a good 7 of them are 5-star matches. Maybe more, who knows? Let's say that everyone was on top of their game and guys brought it like never before. Let's say all of that is true right now, okay? But no John Cena. Is that a case of, okay, I think we're ready to move on? Or is that just a case of, it's WrestleMania. We knew it was going to sell out. Everyone watches WrestleMania. It's all right. John, come on back. We need you. Now, I'm not saying you show John the door if Mania is successful. Don't put words in my mouth. I hate when you guys do that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying to you is that at some point that company's got to start moving forward. I know John is still there. He's still part of the company. He's still the top guy. But at the same time, having said all that, again, he's only getting older. He's going to keep getting hurt. At some point, that company has got to move on, man. It's just the nature of the beast. You can't tie yourself to a main event top guy for like 15 plus years. It's not feasible to do so. It doesn't mean you can't. It just means it's not a very good idea. And I know this is kind of a bad comparison, but Fritz Von Erich in World Class Championship Wrestling. After a while, who wanted to watch the old man work anymore? No disrespect. But you wanted to watch his kids. His sons were the stars of the show. But Fritz loved the business. He felt like he had to keep booking himself in main events because he was the guy running the territory, right? Because at the end of the day, you book the guy you can depend on, and that's yourself, right? Makes sense to me. But who really wanted to see the old guy in the ring anymore? Now, I know it's a different situation than John, and no disrespect to either man in the equation here. Don't misunderstand me. But at some point, the company's got to start moving forward. Well, we said that 5 years ago. Yes, we said it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, said it last year, we said it last week. It's not happened yet. Why? Because WWE has done an incredibly poor job of getting the next generation ready. They've got a locker room full of mid-card stars. Mid-card is good. There is no shame in being mid-card. A lot of guys make their whole career at the mid-card level, and they retire comfortably. Okay? And they've had a good living. They love what they did for a living. Maybe they're still backstage in some capacity, but like I said, they're comfortable. Their family's happy. All is well. God bless them. I'm not suggesting that can't happen. You need the mid-card guys, just like you need the curtain jerkers. You need everyone in between in order to make a successful program. By the same token, however, the Attitude Era, that locker room was full of main event guys. Main event guys. Did you hear me? One more time. Main event guys. Not mid-card, not low-card, not curtain jerkers. We're talking about main event guys. Think about this for a second and see if you can take all this in and come right back at me with what you think here. Get ready. Here we go. Are you ready? Here it is. Shawn Michaels, The Rock, The Undertaker, Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, DX, Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys. Dude, really? Now, think about all these guys. Chris Jericho, man. Ric Flair coming back. Looking great. Think about all that, man. Attitude Era and then early Ruthless Aggression Era. Okay? You had a locker room full of main event talent. Kurt Angle. Forgot about him, didn't we? Brock Lesnar. Main event talent. Dude, a locker room full of main event talent. During those days, you could put on a Monday Night Raw where every single match felt like a pay-per-view. Because every single match could feature a main event talent. I'm serious. Don't you miss those days? Well, guess what, folks? That's the Raw Renaissance. That's what we're trying to get to here, man. That's what we want to see have happen here. Because WWE needs to make this happen. Like we said before, a locker room full of talent just sitting there. A ton of mid-card guys sitting at the mid-card. Oh, they're happy, but they're not as happy as they could be. You're happy watching them, but you could be a lot happier. If only WWE would go the next step. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to go about doing that. We're not going to be able to get in all of them here, but here's what you need, first and foremost. Get out your pens and papers. Does anyone ever still use pen and paper anymore? Is that gone the way of the dodo, perhaps? Maybe so. All right, take note of it somewhere. Remember it, type it, text it, tell your friends. Somebody call my mama, okay? But here it is right now. If you really, really, really want to put main event talent, new main event talent up there and get these guys over, 3 words: establish the connection. You have to establish the connection. The New Day is over because they have established the connection. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, they're over because they have established the connection. Okay? That connection that says, okay, the crowd's with them, they understand, they're going to want to watch every time these guys are in the ring. How many people do you have that with right now? Honest to God, how many people can you really say, and don't work me here because I don't know if you're working me, honestly. But how many people can you really say, straight up, man, have that connection to the crowd, have that connection to you as a fan, that you can say, straight up honest right now, man, that I have to watch. Not because you watch out of habit, not because you watch out of routine, but because you have to watch. Dude, I have to watch Raw. Shut up, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, I'm watching Raw, don't talk to me. How many guys have established that connection with you? I'm going to say it's less than 3 or 4. And the 3 or 4 that have established that connection with you, maybe you've only established it with you and a few other people, but not to the WWE Universe as a whole. Guess what that means? Those guys aren't over. Okay? They're not over. Period. That's the problem in WWE right now. No one's over. You got a locker room full of mid-card guys. We all know that. Every pro wrestling writer worth his weight knows that. Every fan worth their weight knows that. You know that, don't you? WWE is struggling because there's not enough main event guys, because Seth gets hurt. Randy gets hurt. Cesaro, who could have maybe been a main event level guy by now, I don't have any idea what they were going to do with the guy. Who knows? Hurt. Sting, hurt. No sign of him to the Hall of Fame, probably. Think about all this, man. Okay, they lost a handful of guys. Guess what? Those were the main event guys. The handful of guys. You see what I'm saying? During the Attitude Era, and I know they lost to Austin, and that hurt them for a long time. Don't get me wrong. But other guys stepped up and performed and outperformed and overachieved. How many guys are doing that? I'm going to tell you something right now. And this is the fact of the matter. Take this to the bank, man. We can blame creative. You can blame Vince. You can blame Triple H and his magical shovel. You can blame Stephanie McMahon and her shrieking. First class, that one. You can blame anything you want to blame. You can go all the way down to the guys that set up the ring that night. Blame whoever and whatever you want to blame. At what point does the talent themselves catch some of the blame? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If you want something in the business, you got to go after it. No one's going to hand you anything. Anyone that thinks that Roman's been handed something, dude, you need to check yourself at the door, because you have no idea what you're talking about. You're talking about a physical and emotional and time investment on the behalf of Roman Reigns, on the part of Roman Reigns, investing his life. There's a lot more than what you see on Raw. There's not just Raw and SmackDown. There's house shows. There's public appearances. There's going from one city to the next. There's talk shows. There's doing local radio. There's doing internet stuff. There's appearing for like ribbon cuttings, as Dean said on Raw the other night. There's all this other stuff that plays a part of being one of the big guys in that company. You essentially are signing your life away, okay, and saying, here, I'm at your disposal, make the best use of me. Which is all a guy wants, really. Look, here I am. I know what I'm capable of. Put me in places where I can succeed, and I will shine for you. Okay? You open the door for me, and I will be sure it stays open, because you won't want anybody else in this spot by the time I get there. And if you don't put me there, you will regret not putting me there, because I will prove you wrong. And I'm going to tell you right now, if that's not a talent's train of thought, he's in the wrong line of work. Straight up. I've been in locker rooms so many times where I see guys and they're just kind of moping around. I didn't get this, I didn't get that. I would have guys come to me when I was writing storylines. Why? How come I'm not this and I'm not... And I'm thinking, and I would have to eventually tell the guy, dude, what have you done? What did you do last week? You see what I'm saying? Like, you worked your match, you act like you didn't want to be here. Prove to me that you want it. Okay? Body language, how you deliver a promo, how much intensity do you have? Okay? The arm drag, the simple move, hip toss, simple. Run your spots, but make them hard, intense, make them mean something. You really want to prove yourself, get back to the basics, man. Right? Show that company, whether it's WWE or whatever company you're talking about, show them, listen, I'm your guy. If you choose anybody else, you're choosing wrong. And that should be the mentality of a WWE superstar, of a professional wrestler, really. And if you don't have that, like I said, you're in the wrong line of work. Go find something else to do with yourself. You're wasting their time. And the time of the fans. So, when it comes to Monday Night Raw, the Raw Renaissance, as we've been talking about here, it's a combination of things. First and foremost, for me, I have to not want to miss one single episode. And it can't be because of routine. It can't be because it's what I do every Monday night. It can't be. It has to be because, dude, if I miss it, I will miss something great. I need that feeling again. If Raw at some point is truly going to undergo a renaissance, a true renaissance, then that's what has to happen first and foremost. Second, the talent has to be there. The new directions, the fresh faces, the new takes on old concepts. It's not that hard. Pro wrestling at its foundation is not that hard. Pro wrestling is the physical struggle, the eternal struggle of good versus evil played out in a wrestling ring. That's what it is. And you can build and on top of that and construct on top of it, tell all kinds of stories on top of it. You can go in 900 different directions from that basic idea. Branch off from it. Go in different directions. Do it in new ways. Tell stories in different ways. Get different guys to tell different stories in different ways. But you always come back to the basic concept of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And the moment that your pro wrestling company strays away from that initial idea, there is going to be problems. How many times have you read columns by yours truly and by a lot of other guys out there? And how many times have you sat back and watched and said, why are two baby faces working each other? Why are two heels working each other? Who am I supposed to cheer here? Do you see what I'm saying? Are the social outcasts heel or are they face? Is Ryback heel or is he face? What is going on? That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Once you stray from the basic core concepts of what pro wrestling is, you are asking for trouble. And you are headed for bad news. You're headed for a downfall. Okay? In my opinion, in one writer's opinion, WWE has lost focus in terms of the basic storytelling. Why is that? Because no one wants it to be a wrestling show, right? Least of all Vince McMahon. We've moved past that. That's not what we do. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If it's not, take the ring out. Take the 3 count out. Take the bell out. Take the entrance music out. This is pro wrestling. Take out the crutches and the chairs and the trash can lids and all that stuff. The kendo stick. Take it all out. Okay? That's pro wrestling, man. That's what it is. That's what you are as a pro wrestling company. The moment you try to become something else is the moment that you lose your way. It's okay to get big. It's okay to go in different directions. But at the end of the day, you got to come back to that core concept. And isn't it funny how many times what they believe is going to be the next big chosen guy and the collaborations they have with like pop stars and all this other garbage, and when it falls flat, what do they fall right back on to get ratings up? Great wrestling matches. Of course they do. Because that's what brought them to the dance to begin with. That's what got me watching to begin, right? Am I wrong? Did you start watching wrestling because of Mike Tyson? Wow, I feel bad for you. You missed a lot of years before that. By the way, maybe you should go Google or watch the network or something. Okay, seriously. But for anyone to sit there and tell me with a straight face that WWE can't get back to the core principles and make it work is fooling themselves. That company's got a lot of smart people, a lot smarter than I am, a lot of smart people in that company that are in charge, that are calling the shots. But I'm going to tell you something. For all the brains, for all the intellect, for all the know-how that's in that company right now, there's a lot of stuff they're missing. There's a lot of stuff being done wrong. Now, is that one guy constantly complaining? Dude, call it what you will. I don't care. Because no matter what I say, some people are going to just claim that I'm just complaining and just like everyone else. That's fine, man. No problems here. All I can do is give you my honest take on it, give you my honest opinion. And that's where I think we are right now with Monday Night Raw. I think Monday Night Raw's got a lot of potential to get back to the show that it used to be. But I think that company has to do an incredible amount of work to get there. Now, they've got the tools. They've got the talent. Okay? As we said before, they've Cena's still there. It's not like it's time to press the panic button right now. Cena didn't take a walk. He didn't quit on them. Okay? He's coming back. So it's not like they don't have time. They've got time, but they've got to start moving in the right direction. NXT's great. I'm an NXT fan myself. Love the product. But as long as that product is entertaining and kicking butt and doing amazing, and oh my God, I can't miss NXT, but it's still in on NXT and not on Raw, it's time to start putting the pieces together for the next chapter of that company. You have to. You don't have a choice. All right? Evolve or die. And WWE knows that. The McMahon family knows that. They evolved past WCW and AWA and the NWA and every other promotion, world class, that you can possibly think of. They evolved. They did not die. That's the big difference between WWE and everyone else. Okay? They will outlive TNA. They will outlive Lucha. They will outlive Ring of Honor. Straight up. And I don't want to see any of those companies go bankrupt. I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see TNA go under. I think it's a horrible product, but I don't want to see them go under. Because I got respect for the men and women in the ring. I got respect for the men and women running the cameras. Talk about the production team. Talk about the guys on the network that work on TNA on the show itself. Dude, this is how they feed their families. You shouldn't want to see any company go out of business. If you're a pro wrestling fan, and I've soapboxed about this before, by the way, but if you're a pro wrestling fan, you want to see TNA go under, then you are not a pro wrestling fan. I'm ashamed to call you a reader, honestly. Don't waste your time listening to me, because you obviously don't know what the crap you're talking about, man. Seriously, and I brought up the C word. See what you did? You got me saying the C word up in here. That's how it is, man. You just got me overclamped now. See what you did? Monday Night Raw has the potential to be great again. It can be. It should be. It ought to be. It has to be. It has to happen again. I want it. Don't you? The Renaissance has to start happening. I am hoping beyond hope. Fingers crossed, man, that we're seeing the very beginning stages of the Raw Renaissance. I hope that April 4th is the biggest Monday Night Raw in the history of that show. I hope it's bigger than the premiere. I hope it's bigger than anything Austin did. I hope it's bigger than anything you've ever seen. I hope it's bigger than Sting. I hope it's the biggest Raw that we've ever seen. Because if it is, you're probably going to tweet me and say, dude, you rock. So, that's not just why I want to see it. I want it to get better. I want the Renaissance to happen. I want to believe, once again, that Monday Night Raw is the place to be, man. Not the place where I fall asleep halfway through the show. I'm sorry. But a lot of other fans are sitting there. There's no excuses. Don't talk to me about the guys hurt. They've got a world of talent. Utilize it. Get these guys going. Open the door for them. Have a moment where you hand a guy a mic like you did CM Punk and say, go air your grievances. You got 5 minutes. Make it count. Okay? Put two guys in the ring that have never worked before. Put two guys in the semi-main that you would never picture in the semi-main. Put AJ Styles and Heath Slater in the semi-main event and tell them, you got 7 minutes. You got 7 minutes. Tear the house down. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious about that. Seriously. Pair up guys that don't normally work each other, man. See what I'm saying? I mean, get the idea out there that, listen, this is a company in which if you work hard, you're going to get your shot. Because that used to be how it was. I don't think it is that so much anymore. Just my opinion. But it needs to be. It really needs to be, because Raw deserves that. You deserve that as a fan. You should want that more than anything else as a pro wrestling fan right now. Is for Raw to knock you on your heels, knock you back on your heels every Monday. To knock you square in the mouth, dude. And you know when you came away watching Raw that, God, that was the best show I've ever seen. That needs to be like that every week. It was at one point. It needs to be that again. Don't make excuses for WWE. Don't buy into garbage that they try to feed you. Don't do it, man. That company's capable of great things. Don't let them tell you otherwise. And don't let any of the pro wrestling writers tell you otherwise either. Don't listen to all the negativity. They're fully capable of giving it to you and giving you the best in the world. Believe that. Hold them accountable when they don't. Stop watching. Stop buying the merch. Make your voices heard. See what I'm saying? If you really care that much, you'll do it. The Raw Renaissance is there. It can happen. But the company's got to want it to happen. And so does the talent. Very important. Wasn't that fun? We're coming to the end, my friend. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is episode number 49, as we said before, part 2 of the Raw Renaissance. I could talk about this stuff all day. Hope you can listen to it all day. There's a lot more to talk about. Maybe at some point we'll do a part 3. Won't that be fun? Maybe we'll make it like a 30-part series. You got to listen for like the next 2 years. You're committed to it. That's fine. You got nothing else to do you? Nah, me neither. So, we're going to hit you with our stuff here before we leave you. Let's remind you of where you can find everything you need to find concerning Boink Studios. First off, if you'd like to read all of my WWE-related stuff, please check out BleacherReport.com. I'm a feature columnist there, 6 years strong, loving every minute of it. You can also check out my own blog, which is a WWE exclusive blog /pro wrestling. Just TomClarkBR.wix.com/blog. Hit me up on Twitter if you'd like to give me a follow. I'll follow you right back. It's TomClarkBR. Drop me an email, TomClarkBR@yahoo.com. If you're interested in our production company, it's called Boink Studios. We have a sister podcast, which is available on Google Play as well as iTunes, called Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. You can find our page, TomClarkBR.wix.com/boink. All of the stuff written there is done by yours truly. It's all original. All the artwork there is original by Mr. Smith himself, Kyle Smith, co-owner of the company. The music that you've heard on this show and that you will hear on Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour is done by another member of the team. His name is Philip Fender. Philip and Kyle are both available for freelance work. If you are interested, please drop the company a line at boinkstudios@yahoo.com. You can also find us on the Facebook. If you click the like button enough on Facebook, you get a bag of cookies. Okay? So aim high, kids, because those things are delicious. You can also find Boink Studios on Twitter at Boink Studios. Is that convenient? I think that's all I got to tell you. Yes, I think that's it, man. So, episode number 50 is coming up very soon. We hope you tune in. I have yet to decide what I'm going to do for that show, but I've always talked about doing guest stars and things like that, so I might decide to do that again this time. Who knows? But listen, I have to give you a heartfelt thanks. I do want to thank everyone out there for listening right now. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, downloading, giving me feedback, whether it's good or bad. Thanks for following. Thanks for reading my stuff. Thanks for supporting Boink Studios in every way, shape, and form. We do greatly appreciate your patronage. Go watch Monday Night Raw. Go to the network and watch some classic Raw. Watch the next Raw and hope for the best. Stay tuned and watch WrestleMania. Tune in to April 4th WrestleMania. And let's hope they knock it out of the park. I hope so too. That's it for me, folks. Thanks for listening once again. And we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.